Hi guys. I realized something today during my usual morning walk. On this channel, I'm not here to tell you what stocks to buy or what's the next big investment. What I really want is to share how I personally manage and think about my investments. Because it's not just about buying something someone recommended and then watching the price moving. It's about being responsible for every asset you own, understanding why you bought it and what you expect from it. I think this mindset is especially important for people like me, people who work at sea. We have a very specific kind of income. It's usually not monthly, but in relatively big chunks after each contract. And usually what happens? As a seafarer, you finish a contract, money arrives to your checking account, and you think, okay, I've worked quite hard, I deserve to relax. And then step by step the money disappears. A new car, new iPhone or other gadget to travel somewhere, and suddenly it's gone. And but what really happened is that you've just transferred your money to other companies. You helped Apple or Mercedes make a profit instead of buying your own. I've seen guys buying things like the latest Range Rover Sport, and honestly these cars are not made for people with our kind of income. It's not about even practicality, it's about self-esteem. It's a way to say, look, I'm very successful. But in reality, all it does is make the shareholders of that company richer. And it's not just about cars, it's about the priorities. Now, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against high quality products or great services. I actually like them. But I believe they should match your lifestyle and financial level. When you spend a big part of your capital on expensive toys, you don't just pay once, you keep paying later for insurance, for maintenance, registration, whatever it is. There is nothing bad in owning such things, but you have to earn that level first. And honestly, that's not where a typical seafarer is yet. We first need to work on our wealth, not just on our image, let's say. And I really believe that the main money is not earned at sea, it's earned after the sea. When you finally have time to think, to learn, and to explore what truly interests you. For example, here is what a typical day looks like for me now. I wake up around 6:30, go for a morning walk as I'm doing it now, and doing some morning exercise. And during this time I plan my day. Then I have breakfast, help my kids to get ready for school, and from about 9 to 11 I'm online reading the news, watching updates, researching what's happening in the markets. And that's my work. After that I usually go for some sport again, maybe half an hour on 1 hour. It can be a run, some cycling, swimming. If there are some proper conditions, I do surf. And then lunch, and then in the afternoon I'm back online following the opening of the US market, checking the sentiment, the news, new opportunities. Later I pick up my kids from school, spend some time with them, drive them to activities, and in the evening back to research again. And that's how my day goes, the typical one, let's say. And honestly, I don't even understand how people find time for regular Netflix watch. Why should I pay for a subscription to watch movies when I can use the same money to buy shares of Netflix? I simply don't have time to watch anything, to be honest. Alright, the weekends. Yeah, that's of course, that's indeed. Because if you stop following what's going on in the world, if you don't learn, don't grow, and just spend your time on movies or scrolling reels, there is no way real progress can happen. So, and I don't want to say that all of this is just my own genius or invention. Yes, this is exactly how I live and I think right now, but just based on my practical experience. But I've also found the same mindset in many books and interviews. One I strongly recommend is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I already mentioned it before in my previous videos. Or even better, watch his interview on the YouTube podcast, The Diary of a CEO. It's a brilliant conversation about human behavior, patience, and how emotions shape our financial results. And in general, there are so many great YouTube channels about investing and financial psychology. It's really worth subscribing to a few and growing in that direction. Honestly, I have no idea why it's still not a subject in a typical public school. Yeah, but hopefully will be at some point. So I'm convinced that a part of our daily time should go to learning about the personal finance and investing, because it affects every single person on earth. We all deal with money. We buy food, we pay rent, we maintain a car, use services. So, like it or not, we all need to understand how money works and how to manage it. And in this video I also want to share what I think is a simple and a working formula for how to start investing, especially if you are a seafarer. A little bit of sunrise, please. Yeah, this approach might fit everyone. I understand that not everyone wants to spend hours researching companies or following markets, and some people prefer more passive approach. So here is the model I believe suits absolutely everyone. It's called DCA, dollar cost averaging. Also, I mentioned it before, but just to remind you. So the idea is very simple. Open an investment account right in your own bank, the same one where your salary goes to. Most banks have a section for investment, and they offer their own funds. So usually transactions inside these funds come with no commission fees. Then you just choose a specific amount, let's say 10% of your income, and set up an automatic purchase every month. So every month on a fixed date, part of your income goes to buy a share of that fund. The fund you've chosen, it can be global fund, can be technology, can be medical, whatever. So it's gonna be like a subscription to your own future wealth. Instead of paying for Netflix or iCloud or Amazon Premium subscription, you're paying yourself, your future self. And over time, this habit becomes a foundation for your financial stability. And if you want to go one step further, so during a market correction or a dip, you can invest a bit more than usual. But in this case, you need to be also ready for it. You need to have some cash aside to be ready for these kind of situations. And that way your wealth grows like a snowball. And even small, consistent steps can make a huge difference. I know it from my own example. And for example, next time you think about buying a new MacBook Pro, let's say, ask yourself, do I really need this type of this model? If I mostly browse the internet, maybe I can buy a MacBook Air instead and save $500 and put that money into my fund, or even to buy Apple shares. That's how you build the real wealth, step by step. Because if you follow this strategy, especially if you start early, there will come a time when you will stop thinking, when is my next contract? What if there is no job, or what if I get fired? You will stop living paycheck to paycheck. You'll reach a level where your capital works for you, and you can cover even your daily life just by managing your investments. And that's what I wish for everyone watching this. And that's what I call the real financial independence. When you no longer depend on a company or a schedule, when you don't have to leave your Range Rover in the garage and sail away again to make someone else richer while you sleep in a cabin on their ship. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. Each person has their own priorities. I'm trying to share my personal path with you. And some prefer 7 minutes of comfort and now and the cost of their future financial well-being. Some want to live here and now, full throttle. My message is for those who are with me, who are not ready to work their whole life for someone else, who want to think more about their own growth, their family, their priorities, not endlessly live paycheck to paycheck. In fact, according to ChatGPT, around 57% of workers worldwide say they live paycheck to paycheck, so it's more than half the population. But I choose another path. I want to decide when I work, who I work with, and what I work on. And I'm happy to have my choice, not someone's. Oh, what a great morning. Thanks guys for watching this video. I appreciate if you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next one.